He is an independent running for Commonwealth's attorney in Portsmouth, and he is running, amongst others, against the incumbent Stephanie Morales, and Stephanie winning a special election that was in November. And many people that I've talked to in Portsmouth have told me that TJ Wright is closing in this election, and that with all the problems that Stephanie Morales' office has had and some of the scandals they're involved in, that he's got a shot to win. He's running on the independent line, and he's with us now. TJ Wright for Commonwealth's attorney in Portsmouth. It's good to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
The only local politics we cover on our show, because we have a statewide audience, as you know, and we go into Maryland and everything else, is Portsmouth, because it's so much fun, because there's always something going on there. And it's a city that's in transition. Now, look, you're not been involved in politics. It's not like you've done this or that. You're running as an independent to be the next Commonwealth's attorney in Portsmouth against Stephanie. Why?
There are a lot of reasons. I think Portsmouth has a lot of potential. I think we could do a lot better than what we've been doing. And really, like you said, I mean, we need to get out of the news in Portsmouth. It's a small town. We need to get back to kind of the family values and doing what we really want to do, and just make the city great, and not really be in the paper and the news every week and day.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have anything to talk about, right? I mean, that's what makes it fun. By the way, undoubtedly, as everybody knows, we have endorsed Sheriff Bill Watson for re-election there, so we can put that disclaimer out so everybody knows where we're coming from on that. TJ, why are you running against Stephanie Morales?
Sure. In my opinion, I think that the office has had some issues there. One, that they haven't been prosecuting cases in an efficient manner. The other thing, which is kind of dear to my heart, is I think the relationships with local law enforcement have severely broken down. And really, we haven't retained experienced staff within that office. So I think that with my military background and my legal experience, I really think that I could have good, effective change in the office and really in the city.
TJ, tell us about your military service.
Sure. When I graduated from the University of Miami, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. It was in 2000. I went and became a motor T mechanic. I worked with a unit called 4th Anglico, which was in West Palm Beach, Florida. While I was there, I had the opportunity to go to officer candidate school, and then that was right after the September 11th attacks. From there, I had the opportunity to take a test, which essentially made me become a naval aviator, and was flying in the F-18. We deployed to Iraq. We deployed to Southeast Asia. I had a really great career in the Marine Corps, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
TJ Wright, running for Portsmouth's Commonwealth's attorney. If you get elected, just give me right off the bat the one or two things immediately that you're going to do differently from the incumbent Stephanie Morales.
Sure. Well, the first two things that I'm going to do is, one, I'm going to have a long sit down with Chief Chapman. She's our police chief here in Portsmouth. Great leader, great woman that we have running our police department. Have a long sit down with her and see what the breakdowns are, and see what their side of it is that we can do better to support them. The second thing that I want to do really is create an advisory committee with our local leaders, not necessarily our elected, but our community leaders, like our civic leaders, our church pastors, members of any sort of organizational groups that really have an impact in Portsmouth, and see what their needs are. Other than that, it's really going to be case management, seeing what we have and what we need to do to make sure that we do have fair and efficient prosecution.
TJ, one of your campaign platforms is you want to reduce drugs and gangs. This is a real problem now in your city, no question about it. And it's rising, and it's scaring a lot of people. What specifically, as Commonwealth attorney, are you going to do to reduce gangs and gang violence in Portsmouth that your opponent is not doing now?
Sure. The thing that we have in Portsmouth are more homegrown gangs. We do have the presence from some of the larger known gangs, the Bloods and the Crips and what have you, but a lot of the gangs here are actually homegrown, and they're regional within Portsmouth. So a lot of the problems that we have are youth development and things of that nature. Now, My focus first is going to be what assets do we have within the office. I think there are a number of juvenile programs that we can use to rehabilitate youth that come in contact with the court systems. So I want to exercise and utilize those things the most. The things that I'm most afraid of for the city are not so much the addicts, but the dealers. I think we need to utilize our federal prosecutors and our colleagues basically to prosecute the dealers more severely on the federal level, and that way we can actually remove them from Portsmouth. With our addicts, we have great programs such as our drug court, things of that nature, where we can allow them to get help and incentivize them to get clean and become more productive citizens for Portsmouth, which I think everybody would really, really like.
Now, TJ, a lot of people feel that the office of Commonwealth's attorney right now in Portsmouth, based on everything that's gone on, has been sort of a political football. I mean, there's a battle there between Stephanie Morales, Louise Lucas, the Democrats, who put her in, and she was not the hand-picked candidate. She won the race. So there's a lot of turmoil there. What's different if you win? How are you going to change that? How are you going to make up with everybody?
Well, I don't think it's an issue with making up, because as a constitutional officer, you're independent really of all those other elected officials. And I think it needs to be that way. I'm kind of disappointed at how politicized the office has become. And that's not really my intent. I get along with everybody. I don't hold grudges. I wasn't propped up by anybody. I don't have, if you look at my campaign finance reports, I don't have donations from, major political candidates or people that hold positions. So I truly am an independent candidate, and I did that by design because I think we need to represent everybody in Portsmouth. So I'm not, as they say, quote, bought and paid for by anybody. So I like to keep that integrity and just want to maintain that integrity within that office. As far as Stephanie's concerned, or Miss Morales, I don't want to speak to that. I don't know what the decision was or what the internal talking points were between her and Senator Lucas and the other two ladies that withdrew their support from her. I know that they have made some public statements through the media as to why that was, but I'm not privy to that information.
Well, let's see. I mean, it kind of. I mean, her second in command left, and now there's just a lot of turmoil that goes on. Tell me about how you would revitalize the relationship between the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office and the police and the rank and file. Right now it's not good. Sure.
I think it's a relationship issue and a mentality. The law enforcement, the Commonwealth's Attorney is the chief law enforcement officer in the city. So really we work with each other. They don't work for us. And I think that's a mindset that really needs to be changed. The first thing is I think we need to find a way to work together with them. And the way that you do that first is you show that you have respect for the office. Now, you can still hold people accountable and stand next to them at the same time. So the specific things that I would ask my Commonwealth's attorneys to do is, one, I think you need to be present at the civic leagues. We have police officers that are present at each one of those. I think it would be important for each Commonwealth's attorney and even staff to do a ride-along with a police officer at some point. And then when they do shift change, I think just having a general presence there, if it's just me or one of my deputies, just to show that, look, we support you, we're on the same team and things of that nature. The other thing comes to small issues like just general respect. So like if you have a midnight officer, you try and get that officer out of court as quickly as possible so they can get home to their family and things of that nature.
TJ, how do you win this race?
Just keep plugging along. I think, in February when I talked to people, they said, you don't have a shot. And then now I've just kind of been the little engine that could and plugged along through the summer and then now through the fall. And I think that we have a really heck of a shot. I've got nothing but great support from everybody that I've talked to in this city. Regardless of race, demographic, anything of that sort. I really feel like I've been welcomed by the people of Portsmouth, and it's been a great experience. And I can't thank my volunteers or the citizens of Portsmouth enough for the support. And I'm really looking forward to November 7th. I think we're gonna shock the city and Hampton Roads.
I agree with you. I think you got all the momentum on your side right now, and I think average citizens of Portsmouth are just looking to bring the office of Commonwealth's attorney back to normalcy and doing its job and getting it out of politics and in the middle of disputes and people leaving and quitting and fighting. It's not what the office is about. And so I've talked to a lot of people there. I think you got a heck of a shot to win this race. Thomas T.J. Wright running for Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney. He's running as an independent. That's what you need. You need an independent running that office to clean things up there on November 7th. If you're in Portsmouth, don't forget 2 votes in lots of races coming up along with the sheriff's race, governor, and everything else. TJ, thanks for being with us. TJ Wright, independent candidate for Portsmouth Commonwealth's attorney, November 7th. That'll be decided. If you want more information, tjwrightportsmouth.com. TJ Wright, that's WRIGHT, Portsmouth.com.